Oi, oi! Hello, welcome to another All My Bets video. It's been a long time coming, but it is the 2025 Cheltenham Festival. In this video, I will be covering all of my selections for day one. Now, I have done quite a few multiples as well that will be kicking on through the days. So as the week goes on, some of the singles may be topped up. That's why I'm doing these day by day. It's about 9:15 on Monday, the 10th of March. Usually I get these out on the Sunday, a bit of a busier day yesterday. I wanted to settle a few things down before I got this out. I will be recording the Wednesday's selection, so day two, not long after declaration. So that'll be out this afternoon too, so you can watch that at your leisure if you're interested. Now, within all of this, guys, the people that follow the channel will know that I do approach the Cheltenham Festival, I guess people would call it scattergun, but I'm happy to back multiple horses in there. I'll run through in a little bit more detail this year, sort of stakes across some of the races. But I'll let you know how much I've outlaid for the whole festival. At the moment, I've got about just under £6,000 worth of live bets, £5,739, 28 pence, according to the old spreadsheet. Few of those might come out because I've backed a couple of horses, such as Copic to Me and a couple of races, so some stakes might come down, but I might possibly be topping up a few bets in there as well. You guys will be familiar, especially with Cheltenham betting, that as much as you can say I've outlaid this much across the week when there might be even some cheeky little price boosts for smaller stakes, there might be some topping up that goes on in there. So I will do what I've done every year for the last few years, which is I'll share my profit and loss at the end of the week. So make sure you subscribe to the channel so you get notified when I do that. In the past, I've shared my screens, haven't I, for betting accounts, things like that. So see no reason why I wouldn't do that again this year. So I just want to also reiterate on here, as much as I'm saying there about the money that I've staked out there, this isn't anything other than me just trying to be honest and transparent with people that are out there, because I do make a bit of money betting. I've been doing a bit of the tipping stuff with Bookie, so there will be a link in the description for like a page you can go to. I'm still getting it confirmed whether it's on the daily tips page or it's going to go somewhere else, but I'll link it up correctly anyway, and you can find out if I was recommending bets on the day, who I would be recommending you bet and for what sort of points. Now, that is losing money so far this season on there. Not significant amounts, but obviously it's not ideal. And it's possibly been a little frustrating because it doesn't always reflect the betting style of stuff, which is why I like to do this video, because this will tell you what I've staked out there. You won't exactly be able to replicate what I've done at this stage, but there'll be plenty of people out there that have got decent Cheltenham anti-post books. It's good to have a little bit of comparison, and I guess it's good to get a feel and a bit of a radar for the types of horses that I think have got chances of winning these races, because some of these bets probably haven't got as much chance now as I thought they would have a long time out, but they're still in the slip for me, and getting on the right sort of prices helps. So like I say, some of that stuff doesn't help for now, but I think it's interesting all the same. Plenty of you guys have watched this in the past, so yeah, give the people what they want, right? So let's crack on. Obviously, always gamble within your means. Just because it's Cheltenham, we don't get overly excited. Just because I might be bullish on something, again, don't get overly excited. I try and temper my enthusiasm on these types of things, because I do want people just to bet what they're doing. And it is a learning curve for lots of people out there. Like, you need to understand about potentially forming your own opinion, taking some risks against the grain. Just because I've said something doesn't mean it's gospel. But at the same time, if you do take on people's judgment and you keep getting it wrong, you sort of have to reassess stuff. It's taken me a long time to be a profitable bettor. I'm now pushing 39, and I've been betting for probably 25 years, although I shouldn't have been for those first few of them. But I just mean that you learn things as you go. So this isn't a do what I do type video, but it is a good insight towards Cheltenham. Anyway, waffling aplenty done. Usually I keep these videos quite light. We'll crack on. So for the Tuesday, as I said, I got just under £6,000 going across the week. For Tuesday, there's about just under £2,000 worth of the bank kicking off. So we've got 900 quid worth of multiples, which I won't talk about in here, but they are in some big races. So I could talk about some of the races where they're sat in. And then of the singles as well, we've got £1,000 going out. So look, I mean, it's always the same when it gets to this time of year. Fingers crossed we can get off to an okay start, get a couple of winners in the bank. And because I am much more risk adverse now and I spread things a little bit, it does tend to be that it might take me a couple or a few days to reach parity or make some money. But, you know, as much as I have made money for the Cheltenham Festival for more than 15 years on the spin every single year, it's not always guaranteed it's going to happen, is it? And just want you guys to be aware of that it's not just a license to print money. As much as the Cheltenham Festival is probably one of the easier places to gamble at. So, said I wasn't going to waffle, but wouldn't be a video with me if it wasn't waffly, was it? So look, Supreme, I've got £125 worth of singles that have gone out in the Supreme now. I've got Salvatore Mundi goes for 520, Work Ahead goes for 425, William Money goes for 337.50, Copette de Board goes for 325, Romeo Coolio goes for 212.50. So look, I've got most of the market covered in there. But you can see from the stake that I've staked out, look, Copette de Board's an 11 to 10 poke. If I had £125 on him now, I wouldn't even be winning as much off of his return singly, plus I've got all the other horses in there for cover. So again, the reason why we like the anti-post betting, if you can get in the right prices, you've got some reasonable value. But that's the reason why I've managed to cover so many horses in that race. I do have over £400 of multiples kicking off in that first race, and the vast majority of those are on Copette de Board. So he would be a big one for me on day one. He's definitely not a make or break for the whole festival type horse. I don't want people to get overexcited in the first race because, you know, anything can happen, and who knows, he might end up being that buzzy type horse. But I do quite like him. I think he's a fair price. He's the sort of horse that we going up in the column, I suspect. Now, moving on to the Arkle, I've got some multiples. That is about it. I didn't get in anything at fancy prices other than Sagino, which is a loser in here. So where I've told you about my total stakes, haven't included the losses, but they'll come out in the profit and loss. So Arkle, I haven't got anything as a single going in there. I've got a few bets with load of Sid running onto stuff and a little bit of money on Majbra. So it isn't a big race for me, that one. It'll be an interesting one to watch. I wouldn't have a strong betting opinion in it at this stage either. The Ultima, we can move on to that. I've got £275 worth of singles going out on this. If you go back and watch the previous year's videos of all my bets, I love to get stuck into the Ultima. And it's a race where, profile-wise, I think there's a few you can always whittle down to. But then I don't know if it's nerves or what it is, but like I feel like I almost want to try and get off to a good start with the Ultima. I put Chianti Classic up at the start of the season last year. Then I was real sweet on Victorino. He's another horse that's entered again this year, Victorino, that he's not in this list at the moment, but I think I will have a bit of money on Victorino for all that it was heavy ground last year and he pulled up and he doesn't seem to be the best at Cheltenham. He'd be one I top up. So for the purpose of what I've got in here, I've got 275 quid staked. We could roll that up to 300 for conversation's sake here because I'll probably have 25 quid on Victorino. Whether I do that on an exchange so I can trade in running or whether I bet him each way, don't know. But he's about a 20 to 1 poke. I don't want to let him go unbacked because I fancied him last year. And he's got form lines that tie in with the Changing Man, who is the one that I fancy the most for the Ultima. Obviously, he's tightened up at the front of the market now, but £1,050 back from the Changing Man. I'm terrified of Cotati Dori. I put him up on his penultimate start where he didn't jump great. He got caught at the start when it was a standing start. And then he won at Kempton and absolutely bolted up at Kempton after, which has raised him enough in the weights that he gets in. So Cotati Dori got some cover, 720 back from him. Broadway Boy, 440. Trelawn, 425, because this was an earlier bet in the season. You know, he was like favourite for the race last year, and Kim Bailey's he had a plan in mind with him. So I think that was Haydock, but it could be this. Krabilly, 330, just because I got stuck into him for the plate last year. And this year, I wanted to make sure I had something on him if he cropped up in here. Whistle Stop Tour, got 240 back from that. I think the ground's gone against that horse, and I don't know if it's good enough to win the race, but it's a profile type horse that I would imagine would have been a shortener, so I wanted to get it in the book. And then the short go, a couple of people have mentioned this horse to me. I'm not 100% buying into him, but the judges that have told me about him, I didn't want to have him going unbacked. So 200 quid back from the short go. So look, I've got a lot of horses in there. According to what the exchange prices are, which would give me a perceived perception of my chance, it's about 53% in my favour. So it's like a 50-50 chance if I find the winner. Obviously, with the 275 that's been staked, there are a couple that would just be sort of money back makers, but there are a few in there that would be big starts for the week. And I've got quite a few multiples going on this race as well. So look, the Ultima I'm excited about. It's a nervy race because we've had lots of horses in the past, even when Single Farm Payment got head bobbed in it. It's a race where it's 3 miles one. You would like to imagine your horse has sailed clear and it's clear with nothing else, but you get head bobbers in these sort of distances, didn't you? Right, moving on to the Champion Hurdle. I've got £140 worth of stakes that have gone out on this one. It's only Constitutional I've been backing, 390 back for the big dog. He's going to win surely. Mares Hurdle, I've got Lossiemouth for 330 and I've also got Jatara for 325. Now, I have staked 200 quid out on the Mares race. Lossiemouth might be one I could top up if she keeps pushing out closer to evens. I get that it's not the ideal race potentially for her to go into with the fact that the Champion Hurdle was the plan, but I'm treating it as the festival week that she's there because she's trying her best, and I think the price is too big. I think she should be a lot shorter. In the Boodles, loads of... It's not even the Boodles anymore. The Fred Winter is registered, hasn't it? I've got loads of horses in here, and again, I typically do this. Get some that come in at a bit of a shock. I tend to fancy stuff before the weights come out. Then when the weights come out and jockeys come in, I try and sort of peel it down a little bit. I wouldn't have a strong fancy in the Boodles, but I've got 140 quid's worth of singles that have been split across multiple horses. We've got Hot Fuss for Tom Dascombe, that goes for 425. Sunny Bill now, Paul Townend's jocked up, 375. Put Your Hands Together's 325. Beyond Your Dreams, 325. Holy Seas, 325. I actually think that horse for William Durkin's got a good chance at a price, but could be risky. Wendrock, 255. I backed that horse before the weights came out, and I've decided just to leave it, even though I don't think he's very well handicapped. And Mercia, I got 212.50 back from that horse. Backed that before the rated novice hurdle in Nace, where she almost got back up. But again, from the weight that she is now, I'm not 100% sold. So look, I've got a reasonable amount of money going out on the Boodles. That one would rate at about a 45% chance of me getting a winner. So again, in and around 50-50. If you total that and the Ultima, it would be 100%. I would be expected to get one winner from those two races. So yeah, we're going to need a little bit of luck in there, I think. Especially with a horse like Stencil at the front of the market that probably could be a very good horse and clear of these. So yeah, possibly got too much going on the Boodles, but you know, you rate an opinion at some point, don't you? And then I've stood my ground on that one. National Hunt Chase, I've got £110 worth of singles coming out. Transmissions going for 600. Hastings going for 382.50. No Time to Wait, after reading Daryl Carter's column on Betfair, sold me that horse, 260. And Resplendent Grey, 195, because he did look early in the season like he was flattered running close to Highland because they went at a slow pace. But actually at Sandown, he did look like he stayed on. And he just might be the type of horse that all along wanted this type of trip, and it comes out of him. I wouldn't be completely sold, but anyway, we've got the cover on him. And again, to reiterate, with the prices that I've managed to get in early this season, you look at Transmission, he might be about 6 to 1 on the exchanges. If I had the £110 that I've staked in the whole race just on him for this race, that would be one horse running for me for about the same money, whereas I got a bit of cover in there, which is why I like to do it as I've done it. So look, that's all the bets for day one up there. Normally this is about a 5-minute video. I've done it a little bit longer because a few of you said, no need to rush, Dave, so I haven't rushed. We'll wait for declarations. It's 9:30 now, so fingers crossed everything goes in that I need to, or I want to go in, and then we could talk about that after. So I'll do another video in a few hours that I'll upload onto the channel. But look, honestly, best of luck to everybody out there. Anybody that puts their name out there or their face out there to put an opinion, like massive respect to anybody that's doing it. It is hard at times with this game, especially when we are putting our neck on the line with stuff. But I love Cheltenham. It's put me in a good position, especially recently, to be able to, you know, be doing horse racing content full time. I'd like to be making enough money from just punting that I could never have to do anything else, because I know people say, well, if you were good enough at punting, you'd be making enough money, but it's very hard to get the turnover in there to make a significant amount of money betting. So again, I do okay for the betting side of it, but I enjoy doing the content stuff. I'm really grateful for the opportunities that I've managed to get, and I know a lot of that, well, all of it really, is through you guys supporting me. I like to waffle, I like to talk about horses, I like to have this outlet, so I do really appreciate every single one of you out there. And like I say, I've said this many times, but we're all in this together at the end of the day. We can all win. Everyone can have a different opinion, and we can all still make money and profit out of this game. We can enjoy things. It's not a competition against each other. Life's much easier when we work together rather than having an annoyance or a frustration because someone else has done something or someone else has done this. So I guess within that, you know, just enjoy the week. Fingers crossed we get a few winners. As I said somewhere in here, like, obviously just because I've bet a sizable amount of money, I'm not saying that you guys have to do that either. Just want to share this stuff because I know you guys find it interesting. But yeah, let me know in the comments below what your best bets would be for the day. And yeah, I'll link up some stuff in the description for those cheat sheets that I've done for GG if you're interested with those, because they're quite good. And then I'll put a link in where the which bookie page will be for the horses that I actually fancy on the day. If you've not struck any bets yet and you did want to follow me in, yeah, be lucky, and I'll see you in a couple of hours.